One of the things I've challenged myself on with this vehicle is making everything as factory looking as possible. Whether that be saying to myself, not drilling holes in anything unless absolutely necessary, or finding mating connectors that are the factory connector and extending them or making a new wire harness with them. One of the things that I'm doing is that this harness is very short. It needs to mount in here, but it only has so much wire. This is 1 gauge wire, and I don't want to cut this off. This is all factory crimped fittings. That end doesn't come apart. So what I'm going to do is extend everything. But one of the important things here is this connector right here. And this is the high voltage interlock. This is the connector that the vehicle says, hey, you're connected or you're not. Right now the vehicle wouldn't start if that was open. It's just a short inside the inverter, but it needs to be mated. This is actually what's called a Metropack Metropack series connector 480. So if you look right here, there's the data sheet that I found. It's a Delphi connector, and it looks very close to what it is. There's a whole lot of different connectors out there, a whole lot of different series. So you have to basically do a lot of searching. I spent about 2 hours tracking down this one and 2 hours tracking down the ones for this battery, this wire harness here. This is a 6 conductor. This is a different family. But one of the things you do is you verify the dimensions to make sure that you're correct. Well, 480 refers to the tab width inside of the connector. So inside here there's a terminal, and it's in millimeters, and of course I cannot get my calipers in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just roughly verify where I'm at, and that is 155 thousandths. So 0.155 inches converted to metric, and I'm going to do that right now. Is 393, 3.93 millimeters. Well, that measurement was quite a bit off inside of here, so let's do that again. But it's 4.8 millimeter terminals is what I should be seeing. So let's go in here and try to do it a little bit better. Maybe 0.175 or 1.75. I'm sorry, 0.175 inches. That's much closer to 4.8. So this is a 4.8 millimeter series connector. One of the other things that we can verify is the dimensions, right? For example, this one says 53 millimeters long. That would be this connector without the what they call the terminal position assurance device, right? So we can pop that off. It's just snapped on. And we can measure the overall length. And we're at 2.91 inches. So 2.91 times 25.4 is approximately 73.9. Well, that's concerning, because this one says 53. So I guess I need to do a little more looking to make sure that this is in fact the right connector. But let's check the width. So maybe it's the internal depth or something along those lines. So we're going to now take the width here, and it's 1.07 inches. 1.07 times 25.4 is 27. So maybe it's the inside. I'm sorry, that was the outside. Yeah, so the dimensions aren't super clear, but this isn't also a total mated length. So that's another one you can go off of. So if I plug this into this, And now I'm going to take a dimension of the total length. It's 69.2 millimeters. Now remember, this end is going to be a little longer, and there's some squish in here, but 2.79 inches, roughly. 2.79 times 25.4 is 70.8 millimeters. 69.2 is real close to that. So this is the right connector, and I'm going to buy them just to test it. It's available available on Mauser for a few dollars a piece, and I'm going to buy them, make sure they're the right ones, right? Buy all the terminals, all the seals, all these clips, and what I'm going to do is extend this harness as long as I need it, maybe a foot, maybe 2. But that's how you find the connectors that are part of something. You take measurements and you make sure they are what they are. These connectors here, sorry, that wire harness is rubbing against the tripod, is a 6-position connector. It's a different type of connector, different family, and these are from the 90s, you have to remember, the late 90s. So it took a little bit of digging, spent a couple hours on it again, and took some pictures and then started scrolling through Mauser's connector page and found something that made it up. And one of the big things is looking at this keying feature. So there's a external tab here, an external tab here that's parallel with the one on the other side, and one here. So what I'm going to do is take a measurement of this, because I haven't done this yet, and see what it works out to be. So it's 9.91 inches. So I'm going to go over to the computer and look at the data sheet for that real quick. And we're going to make sure that that 0.91 inches is what it's supposed to be. So if I zoom in on the data sheet, you can tell it's a older data sheet. It's AMP, now TE connectivity. At least this particular one is. And it's 23.1 millimeters. 23.1 millimeters divided by 25.4 should be 0.90, which is exactly what I have. So this 6-pin connector is I'm going to make sure I get this right. It's a TE connectivity / AMP, who bought them, EconoSeal J connector. This one has 4 positions populated. Excuse me. 4 positions populated. I counted yesterday, or 2 days ago, there are 14 of the 6-position connectors and 5 of the 1-position connectors. It's the same family of connector, only instead of being 6, it's 1. Don't ask me why they only used 4. You'd think they would have made them so they can't all plug together. It appeared that the male connector housing, not talking about the, well, I guess the male pins are also in it, but the male connector that goes into the female housing here is not available via Mauser at this time. I have to buy 4,800 of them. I'm not buying 4,800 of them. The female is, though. So that's good, because the female housing is what is connected to all the original batteries. This is the original harness, and no one's really modified this, so I can plug right onto that and make a connector for my resistor divider system. So once again, I'm going to continue to make a video on this as I go along. I'm going to try to work on it about once a week, or make a video about once a week. With the holidays coming up here, I should be able to get something out about that. And hopefully we can get this done by, midwinter, so I can be driving this in the spring. Thanks for watching.